Sammy! Sammy! Yeah, that's right, Sammy. We're doing another top 10 weird films list. Put Sammy away now. They're gonna think you're kinda crazy, huh?
Oh, hey there! I'm Brendan Petersen, the founder of DARKSLIDE Pictures and the director of Paper Wasps. Welcome to episode 21 of the Appalling Productions Mondays series. This episode is entitled Even 10 More Weird Films. So, let's just get right into the list. First up is number 10, Gummo, a 1997 movie by Harmony Korine about the lonely residents of a tornado-stricken town in Ohio. The film is basically a vignette of different sequences that take you into the depraved lives of the inhabitants of this town. It brings you through the often strange and unusual things that they do. In one scene, a mother serves her child spaghetti while in a bathtub and gives him a chocolate bar for dessert, which he drops in the tub and then brushes off a little bit and continues to eat. Harmony Korine said that he wanted the aesthetic for this film to be bacon. And in this particular scene, you can actually see a strip of bacon taped to the wall behind the boy as he bathes. Number 9 is Lycanimator, a 2018 film by Sebastien Godin. It's a gnarly new creature feature in the tradition of classic late 80s and early 90s splatter flicks. It's about a group of friends who go to an abandoned house for a weekend, only to come across some mad scientists who's concocted some monster goo. The goo soon turns one of the group into a hungry, lustful beast, and trouble starts to brew from there. It's Seb's first feature, so look it up. Number 8 is The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, a 1988 movie by Terry Gilliam. It's a fictional account of Baron Munchausen's supposed travels and fantastical experiences with his band of strange personalities and misfits. It has some incredibly well done costuming and set design, and even features Robin Williams as the King of the Moon. It also has one of the coolest on-screen depictions of death that I've ever seen. Death as in the Grim Reaper. So check it out if you enjoy weird fantasy films and you want to see something quirky that you might not have heard of. Number 7 is Dogtooth, a 2009 film by Yorgos Lanthimos. It's about 3 teenagers who are isolated from the world and kept in their house by their parents because they're told that their dog tooth hasn't fallen out yet. This film is hard to describe, but mostly it is seen as a satire. David Lynch said it is one of his favorite recent films and claims that it's a fantastic comedy. So check it out. Number 6 is The Greasy Strangler, a 2016 film by Jim Hosking about a man named Ronnie who runs a disco walking tour with his son Braden. When a woman who they both find attractive takes the tour, it begins a competition between them for her love. Meanwhile, a murderer covered in grease stalks the streets at night, strangling people. This film is a good example of how Western cinema is starting to catch up to Japanese cinema in terms of bizarro, at least in my opinion. This film is completely off the wall and bizarre, and it's absolutely hilarious. All I have to say about it is tutti frutti disco cutie. Number 5 is Endless Poetry, a 2016 film by Alejandro Jodorowsky, and it tells the story of himself as a young man becoming a poet in Chile. The surrealist master returns with this personal tale of an artist finding himself, and subsequently freeing himself from his own youth. His usual striking and awe-inspiring imagery is once again back, and he employs it very well with some incredible and elaborate costuming over vast crowds, which I'm sure if you've seen any of his other stuff, you can probably imagine, but this time it's done particularly well. It's definitely worth checking out. Number 4 is Beyond the Black Rainbow, a 2010 film by Panos Cosmatos. It's about a young woman who's under heavy sedation in an institute called Arborea. Here she's being questioned by a strange doctor who himself seems quite off, and soon you learn just how off he really is. The film features some extremely stylish colored lighting, and an 80s throwback feel to the aesthetics in general. It also features a very unique sound design that kind of reminds me of a broken radio. It's something I can really dig, so check it out if you think that sounds interesting. Number 3 is Altered States, a 1980 film by Ken Russell about a Harvard scientist who conducts experiments on himself with hallucinatory drugs and an isolation chamber. Combined, he believes that this might be causing him to regress genetically. The film is famous for its FX work, but it also features some amazing acting and quite a unique plot. Some of the hallucination scenes are notoriously over the top and were apparently very expensive to shoot. Because of that, I think they're probably some of the best hallucination scenes ever put in film. Number 2 is Funky Forest First Contact. It's a 2005 film from the same Japanese studio that did Survive Style 5+, and it features a lot of the same actors that are in that. It's a strange vignette of surreal non sequiturs that would probably appeal to someone with a short attention span. They largely revolve around someone named Guitar Brother and his strange sibling brothers. The film makes absolutely no sense, but in a good way, and has some of the strangest imagery you're likely ever to see, in true Japanese nature. Number 1, Inland Empire. It's a 2006 film by David Lynch about an actress who starts to adopt the persona of her character in a film. And once that happens, her world starts to become a surreal nightmare. The film features an incredible lead performance by Laura Dern, who David Lynch famously wanted her to win an Oscar for it, and toured a cow around Hollywood with a sign about how she should get an Oscar. This is probably one of his hardest films to get into, but also one of the most rewarding. Hey, thanks for watching this week's episode of Appalling Productions Mondays. If you like this list of weird films, check out the other 2 episodes as well that go into weird films. I know Sammy here likes the disturbing films more, which is actually next episode is even more disturbing films. Well, 7 more to be exact, because that's just the number I picked. So see you next time on Appalling Productions Monday.